But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but no, this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but doesn't think you can win. What do you say to that?
It's one thing to throw sarcasm at your favorite politician, but it's another to roast him like a Thanksgiving turkey on live TV. And that's exactly what Bill Maher just did. Maher, who's never hidden his soft spot for Gavin Newsom, seems to have finally had enough of the governor's endless political show. On a recent episode of his show, the comedian went all in, tearing into Newsom for what he called the catastrophic leadership of California. The takedown wasn't just blunt, it was absolutely savage.
Gavin Newsom is the governor of California, home to 12% of all Americans and 50% of all Mexicans. On the upside, Newsom is the only governor, with the possible exception of Kristi Noem, who looks like they could do porn.
Did Bill Maher really just claim that Gavin Newsom's greatest legacy is looking like he belongs in the adult film industry? That's not just a jab. That's a full-on haymaker from someone who once praised him. Imagine being the governor of one of the most powerful states in America, only to have your top achievement reduced to having the face, and apparently the vibe, of an X-rated star. Maher boiled it down to a career path straight out of parody, and that says everything about how badly California has been run when your biggest supporter turns into your roast master.
I don't want to say he really wants to be the guy who steps in if the current nominee goes down, but he gets an alert on his phone every time Biden can't think of a word. The downside is that governor of California is kind of like being conservator for Britney Spears. They'll attack him on California's homeless problem, but there's a response to that. The homeless can live anywhere, but they choose California.
The truth is, California has basically rolled out a VIP package for the homeless. The state's laws make it comfortable and convenient, turning compassion into chaos. Under Gavin Newsom, homelessness hasn't just risen, it's exploded. Instead of solving the crisis with real solutions, his policies have fueled it, turning sidewalks into tent cities and neighborhoods into outdoor shelters. Add to that his soft-on-crime approach, where criminals walk free and victims pay the price, and you get Newsom's legacy in one line: homelessness up, crime up, quality of life down.
Of course, the knock on Gavin has always been that he's slick. Yeah, you know what? I'm okay with that. I notice slick is something no one has been accusing Biden of lately. Do you want good at talking or don't you? Newsom is the best communicator in the party with a history of standing up to bullies, and his name lends itself to the best slogan since I Like Ike. I'm having Gavin.
Finally, Bill Maher has said out loud what Californians have been thinking for years. Gavin Newsom is just a slick salesman in a designer suit. He's polished, smooth, and charismatic enough to sell sand in the desert, but beneath the shine, there's nothing real. Newsom has mastered the art of talking in circles, delivering long, glittery speeches that dodge tough questions and cover up failures. He can charm a crowd, sure, but charm doesn't fix exploding homelessness, rising crime, or a declining quality of life. He's a pro at avoiding accountability with rehearsed lines. But is that leadership or just theater? If even Bill Maher, once his biggest supporter, is now tearing him down, maybe it's time the rest of the country starts paying attention.
I was on KBLA yesterday, with my friend Tavis Smiley. I'm an investor and a supporter of that station. And he said, who do you want for running president? I mentioned, I think you'd be good at the job. Not this year, we know. No, I know. But he said, I don't think he could win. I don't think he could win. He's too progressive coming from this state and what he's done in this state to win in any southern state, any red state. I disagreed, but no, this is a progressive African-American owned station, and I'm sure they like you, but he doesn't think you could.
Anyone paying attention knows Gavin Newsom's presidential chances are about as real as a diet pizza, completely non-existent. After the mess he's made of California, no amount of PR spin can hide the wreckage. Across the state, people are fed up, watching the once golden land of innovation and opportunity turn into a place businesses can't wait to flee. Companies have packed up, taking jobs and investments with them, while wealthy residents have followed suit, refusing to fund his reckless experiments. The middle class is crumbling, the cost of living is skyrocketing, and the California exodus is breaking records. Even many Democrats now think he's gone too far. When your own side starts calling you too progressive, your White House dreams aren't shaky, they're already buried.
Look at the swing states. There's only 8 of them.
Right. Well, I mean, California is an interesting case study, isn't it? It's the size of 21 state populations combined.
Yeah.
2/3 of the state is very deeply red. We don't need to be lectured on rural politics or border issues. I mean, in so many ways, these are familiar issues, and the issues of the heartland of the United States are very much a part and parcel of the work we're doing in this state. But look, I understand this notion that you're from the coast, you don't understand those things, you can't talk the language, you're not able to communicate.
No, it's stuff like there's a new law in this. I think we have way too many regulations and laws, as we've talked about. And this one, I think, says if you're a department store with over 500 employees, you have to have a gender-neutral toy department.
Yeah.
Bill Maher nailed it. What's sinking Gavin Newsom isn't just homelessness or the economy. It's the non-stop woke parade he's been leading. Voters everywhere are tired of having identity politics pushed into every part of life. And under Newsom, California has become ground zero for it. Maher even mocked one of the strangest laws. Any toy store with more than 500 employees must have a gender-neutral section. Because in Newsom's California, kids apparently can't just play, they need to make a political statement. It's this kind of tone-deaf policymaking that makes voters roll their eyes and think, yeah, this guy for president? Not happening.
Too much government there.
That's an interesting one because the department stores came to us supporting that. And they were the ones making a case for that. They were making a case they're already moving in that direction.
Wanted you to make a law about them?
Well, but they supported the legislation. It wasn't legislation that was enacted, that was initiated from my office, but it was legislation that came up with interesting support from the industry itself. But I understand how that's exploited, and good people can disagree. But that's not something we woke up and said, this is a top priority for the state, when we know what the top priorities are: homelessness, housing, the issues of crime, quality of life, and issues related to regulation and taxes, which are all top of mind.
That's Gavin Newsom's trademark: smooth talk and no action. Everyone knows California's problems: homelessness out of control, crime rising, taxes crushing families, and businesses fleeing. The issue isn't awareness, it's action. Knowing the house is on fire isn't leadership, putting it out is. But instead of solutions, Newsom offers speeches and slogans. Words don't fix problems, action does, and California's still waiting.
Good job this year making it rain.
You're welcome. That was my legislative priority.
It was looking bad there for a while, and we still don't have enough water in the Colorado River and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And then whenever I read, 80% of the water goes to agriculture. Almonds.
Right.
No one ever asked you about almonds? Oh, I'm going to ask you about almonds.
Yep, you heard that right. Nearly 80% of California's water goes to agriculture, and a huge chunk of that is for almonds. In a state constantly battling droughts and wildfires, where residents are told to skip showers and let their lawns die, billions of gallons are quietly funneled into almond orchards. Why? Because almonds are big business, and powerful interests make sure the water keeps flowing. So while ordinary Californians ration every drop, corporate farms are guzzling the state's lifeline. The irony? In a land of fire and thirst, California's water isn't saving people, it's just growing nuts.
1,900 gallons to grow a pound of almonds. Yeah. Come on, man. Take on Big Almond.
Take on Big Almond.
I mean, it's not like we don't have the water.
No. You're right about it. It's not that we don't have the water. That said, the last couple of years were tough. I mean, but it's also where the water's falling and we're not capturing it. And we're not capturing those extreme years with these atmospheric rivers. Wets are getting a lot wetter, dry's drier, hot's getting a lot hotter. And so we've got to modernize our conveyance system. We've got to modernize our storage, not just above ground, but below ground. And so that's a big part of our focus and frame, including desalination plants. We have 20 projects just on desal that we're working on today. So we put out a detailed water strategy.
When it comes to polished answers, no one outshines Gavin Newsom. The guy could sell snow cones in a blizzard with how smooth he sounds. Every press conference and interview feels like a performance, bold promises delivered with Hollywood flair. But behind the sparkle, the reality is grim. Homelessness keeps rising, crime keeps spreading, and businesses keep fleeing under heavy taxes. Yet Newsom keeps spitting it like California's living the dream. It's not progress, it's performance. His real talent isn't governing, it's selling the illusion of success. Speeches might earn applause, but they don't fix streets, lower costs, or make people safer.
I don't want to live in the Civil War country.
I agree with that.
You know what? Well, but you seem like you purposely want to set up this dichotomy between, this is a blue state and that's a red state, and I don't want to live in that country. I like Florida.
I'm with you. And by the way, I like Florida as well. I like all these states. I completely agree. I don't want to have a state of mind that's a constant fight or flight. We've gone through so much. We've been polarized and traumatized. This has been a tough 5-6 years across the globe, not just in this country. That said, I'm not going to sit back and watch. You made the point just a moment ago in your monologue. You got folks out there trying to bring us back to a pre-1960s world. America in reverse, rolling back voting rights, LGBTQ rights, women's rights, not just access to abortion, but contraception.
Newsom is as woke as they come, and if America ever puts him in power, brace yourself. He'll drag the country down just like California. His record speaks for itself. A state drowning in homelessness, businesses fleeing, taxes crushing the middle class, and cities overrun with crime and addiction. California should be a model of prosperity, but under Newsom, it's become a cautionary tale. He's mastered the art of selling woke slogans while ignoring real struggles. If this is his blueprint for America, it's a recipe for decline. Slick speeches can't hide failure. Newsom's leadership is disaster wrapped in designer suits. The California collapse was the warning shot. The question is, will the rest of the nation listen before it's too late?